Right now at 6, searching for answers after another deadly year on Portland streets.
And the last 5 years have all been higher than the prior 20 years.
Where some people are putting the blame for rising traffic deaths. And the trial begins for a man accused of murder in a downtown Portland road rage incident that unfolded in broad daylight. Why he says it was self-defense. Plus, a school bus in Salem catches fire with children on board.
It was burning pretty bad that it could have made those kids pass out.
How a good Samaritan stepped in to help. Then,
so as soon as I kind of make eye contact with him, he immediately cuts sideways and I just see his giant body.
the fisherman who came face to face with a great white shark on the Oregon coast. Thanks for joining us here at 6. I'm Christine Padawanich. So far this year, Portland has seen 67 traffic-related deaths. The most recent happened just this morning when a car hit a person in southeast Portland. Celine Stevens is live where that crash happened. Celine.
Christine, yeah, that pedestrian was hit right here at this crosswalk at the intersection of 109th Avenue and Division Street. Now, this is one of those areas that PBOT says they've been working to improve with their safety. However, they said there's also only so much that they can do with limited funding.
We should not have people dying just from traveling our public streets and right-of-ways.
Wednesday morning marked the 67th traffic-related death in Portland. This footage shows a person crossing in the designated crosswalk on Southeast Division at 109th Avenue early in the morning and looking both ways before getting hit.
And the last 5 years have all been higher than the prior 20 years before that.
According to PPB, in 2023, there were 78 deaths from crashes. In 2022, that number was 68, and in 2021, it was 69. In 2016, Portland's Bureau of Transportation established Vision Zero, a program to make streets safer by adding more cameras, installing more lighting, and overall transforming streets. Portland Police Bureau reinstated its traffic division last year as well, with dedicated officers monitoring the streets during times fatal crash rates are higher. However, police say there's only so much they can do if the city's culture doesn't change as well.
I think that we have just developed this culture where Portland is a playground and there's no repercussions and people get away with things here, and you can come here to drive fast, speed race, do donuts, weave in and out of traffic, whatever you choose to do.
Slowing down, not weaving in and out of traffic or driving impaired, and not evading police are changes PPB says need to happen. PBOT says the intersection where Wednesday's crash happened actually received safety improvements previously, but some business owners in the area say it only made things more dangerous, as seen in this video of a car flipping over this concrete curb.
We do not have a crossing lights when the traffic is going. We have this absolutely unneeded concrete block that does not support any purpose.
Fatima Magamadova owns Roman Russian Market and saw Wednesday morning's crash on her security camera.
We need lights on both sides of the street. We need traffic signals. If this pedestrian would be crossing street where the traffic lights, he would be alive.
However, PBOT says funding is a problem.
We need the formula funds that come to all cities and counties to increase significantly for us to be able to provide the safety improvements that we know can reduce speeding, that we know can mitigate a crash and make it less severe.
Now, when I asked PBOT if there are any plans to add traffic signals to this intersection, they said they have added a few along this area, including as close as 107th. However, this area is just not a through street and it has no major destinations. As for the driver in that crash, police said that they stayed at the scene and it does not seem like impairment was a factor. Christine?
Celine Stevens reporting live from Southeast Portland. Thank you, Celine. In your headlines tonight, a man is dead after a shooting at a Northeast Portland motel earlier this morning. It happened just after 5 a.m. in the parking lot of the Quality Inn at Northeast 82nd and Sandy. The man died at the scene. The shooter took off before police got there. This is the second deadly shooting at this Quality Inn in the past month. A man was shot and killed in the same parking lot just about 2 weeks ago. Today, police identified him as 43-year-old Kimo Henriquez of Vancouver. A person was detained at the time, but police have not said if they were a suspect. And more than 700 Wells Fargo bank employees in Oregon will either be losing their jobs or transferred elsewhere in the coming year. Back in October, the bank announced its plans to consolidate its global operations divisions. Wells Fargo is expected to close its Hillsborough Center on Walker Road, which has 500 employees. It'll also be shuttering its Salem location on Hawthorne Avenue, where 221 people currently work. Wells Fargo told the state the locations will be shut down by next fall. The Clackamas County District Attorney has requested the Oregon Department of Justice take over a case involving a former West Linn doctor accused of sex abuse. More than 100 people accused then Dr. David Farley of sexual abuse and misconduct against women and minors. But in 2022, a grand jury did not indict, saying there was not enough evidence. But prosecutors say at the time, Oregon law made it difficult to prosecute medical professionals who were accused of sex abuse. Then, last year, a new law was passed addressing the issue and prompting the DA to ask the state to get involved. Nearly 5,000 nurses, doctors, and caregivers at 13 Providence hospitals and clinics have voted to authorize a strike. Negotiations with Providence have spanned more than a year now and still no contract. The medical workers want more staffing, pay, and investments in patient safety. If a strike does happen, it would be the first time in Oregon's history that doctors have walked off the job. A 10-day notice is required by law before a strike can begin. Matt?
All right, Christine, thanks very much. Another beautiful day in the Portland area and throughout much of Western Oregon. Really, Portland is still clear. We're at 41 degrees, low humidity too for this time of the year. Salem, no fog yet, but it is cooler. It's 34. Humidity is also higher. We'll get fog forming in the valleys again overnight tonight like we have the last several nights. But the freezing fog advisory, which continues till 11 a.m. tomorrow, is for areas south of Salem down to Eugene. So it's not for the North Valleys. We don't expect as much fog as what we've seen in previous days. Also a freezing fog advisory for the Columbia Basin and a dense fog advisory out there around Ontario. Here west side, some areas, the areas that are in the valleys, have an air stagnation advisory because our air is very stagnant. We haven't had much changeover in the air mass over the last couple of days, but that is going to change as we go into tomorrow and Friday. Now, the east winds have just been raging. Again, gusts over 75 miles an hour at Corbett and Crown Point. East side of Troutdale, a gust of nearly 60. West Hills had a gust of 32. Those winds are going to begin to back off. They're not going to end. That takes a while. It's a gradual process, but they should begin to back off tomorrow. And we get scattered high clouds tomorrow as well. Still dry in the valleys. There may be a few sprinkles out at the Oregon coast, but we're in good shape tomorrow. The east winds will continue, but they will begin to back off. Then the weekend will bring rain and mountain snow. More on that in a bit, Christine.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you, Matt. Was it murder or self-defense? That is the question jurors are considering in a deadly road rage trial involving an Uber driver. Today, both prosecutors and the defense laid out their cases in opening statements. Investigative reporter Kyle Aboshi is in the newsroom now. And Kyle, you've been following this case for the past year. Refresh our memory here.
And you may remember the shooting happened in broad daylight in downtown Portland. A warning, the video is quite graphic. 48-year-old Jeffrey Hammond is charged with second-degree murder and other charges for fatally shooting a man and injuring another in downtown Portland. He's pleading not guilty. On October 11th, 2023, Hammond was working as an Uber driver when he pulled up to the Moxie Hotel in downtown Portland. Several cars passed by, including a gray Toyota pickup driven by Ryan Martin of Vancouver. Court records show the two drivers exchanged middle fingers. Video shows that Martin got out of his pickup and walked back across the street. The two strangers interacted for 13 seconds. Then Hammond shot Martin out the driver's side window. The 47-year-old died at the scene. He was unarmed. A few minutes later, a man visiting Portland for a convention started recording on his cell phone. Hammond responded, pointing the gun and then firing. That man survived after a bullet went through one leg and into the other. Hammond turned himself into police, admitting to detectives what he did. His defense lawyer told the jury today it was self-defense, and Hammond did not intend to kill anyone.
He was not aiming for the heart. He was not aiming for the head. He was aiming for the shoulder.
The prosecutor argued this was murder, and the video proves it, along with witness testimony and Hammond's own confession to police. The Multnomah County trial is expected to run through next week.
Kyle Laboshi following up for us from the newsroom. Thank you, Kyle. It was a pretty scary afternoon for some students and families in Salem yesterday after a school bus, look at that, caught fire. A man who saw it all happen jumped into action and helped get the students off the bus safely. John Adams spoke with the Good Samaritan today.
Terrifying images captured in Salem on Tuesday. A Salem Kaiser school bus smoking and then erupting in flames. 7 students were on board at the time.
Bus was smoking so bad where it was filling the street up with smoke.
Travis Hansen says he started following the bus when he noticed something was wrong. He tailed it for a number of blocks as the situation got worse. The bus driver eventually pulled over here near Commercial and Pine Street in Salem. That's when Hansen jumped into action.
I run to the bus. I think the bus driver was having a hard time getting the doors open, so I kind of pried the doors open as he was doing it, got the doors open.
The father of 4 says he then helped shepherd the students off the bus to safety as it filled with smoke.
As you could tell, they're frightened, definitely wanting to get off that bus.
I was nervous and scared because I had 3 on the bus.
Heather Hollum had a 13-year-old and 2 12-year-olds on the bus. She picked them up from a nearby gas station after the incident. That's where she saw the bus driver, who she described as being visibly shaken.
His hands were like this the whole time. He was on the phone, everything, and I felt so bad for him.
Hollum says she held her kids a little tighter that night.
I held them all. I was like, give me hugs.
The Salem Kaiser School District says they are investigating the incident, but are thankful everyone made it off the bus without injury. Hansen is grateful he was in the right place at the right time.
I'm just glad I was there to help. I don't know if I wasn't there at that time or how long it would have took to get the doors open. Maybe I don't know what would have happened to those kids. Maybe if they would have passed out from that smoke. So I'm glad I was there.
In Salem, John Adams, KGW News.